Hi, I'm Maralyn Chase. I'm a state senator from the 32nd Legislative District. And I'm talking today from the Presbyterian Church in downtown Seattle at a wonderful conference talking about seeds and the international implications of seeds and for our future. It's been just a great presentation here today. What I tried to do was frame it so people understand that this is an international, a national, a state, and a local issue. And that when we look at how we approach our food supply, how we regulate it, why we even do this work, it really comes down, in my opinion, to two major issues. One is food security, and I thought it was particularly appropriate that we're meeting in a church today because in the basement of this church is an emergency feeding program for people who do not have enough food. And yet we know we have enough food in this society. We have a maldistributive system. You know, our system of distribution is not working. So some people have food security and some people do not know where their next meal is coming from. And a lot of them go to the churches for food, food packs, hot meals, and the like. The other issue I raised is I think that we have a question of food sovereignty. You know, who controls the food supply? Do the people who grow the food, the farmers, the urban gardeners? Where there's a great move for urban agriculture at the present time. But you take a look at the availability of seeds, and if you control the seeds, the supply of seeds, then you essentially control the food supply. That's sovereignty over the food supply. And that troubles me a great deal. Some of the other things that I remarked on is the widespread participation of all sectors of our community. We have people from the universities, we have people from most of the occupations you might see. I was surprised it was not all students. We've got a sizable number of young people here, but we have people from all ages. So it's been a great conference so far. They're going extremely well, extremely well. Let me just say that I understand that Monsanto has more money than we do, and they're going to spend it liberally. But we know that 72% of the people in this state believe that they have the right to know what's in the food they're buying. And they also have a right, they believe, to know whether or not genetically engineered ingredients are in their food. And so people are also adamant that they do not want the government or the corporations telling them what they can eat and what they can't eat, or what they can buy or not buy. It is a right of people in this state, according to 72%, and we think it's probably getting up closer now to 75%. People believe that their fundamental rights as citizens are being tampered with and are in jeopardy. And so you mess with an American's rights, things that they believe they have a fundamental right of citizenship, you're messing with the wrong group of people. So the campaign's going very well. I just got back from a trip. I'm with a group called PENWAR, Northwest Pacific Economic Region, and I was in Anchorage, and I went over to take a look at the Pebble Mine, the proposed Pebble Mine in Bristol Bay. Now, Bristol Bay is the site of the largest wild salmon spawning grounds in the world. It's where the action is for the fish to spawn. It also has more Washington State fishing families and processors who get their salmon from the Bristol Bay Run than any other state. I was really quite surprised to find that out. So this is an issue that is very near and dear to people in Washington State. We like our wild salmon. And people are concerned, and I must say I think there's some legitimacy to this, that the advent of genetically engineered salmon, Aqua Bounty has produced a genetically engineered chemical. They can't call it a fish, they call it a chemical, and it has eels that cross the species line. These are combinations of DNA that simply cannot take place in nature. I tell my grandson it's all about sex. You know, you can't have sex outside your species, or it's not normal, it's not natural. And so the genetically engineered salmon has some ocean eel in it, it has some other species of fish in it, and it grows much faster. It has a life cycle of maybe 10 months, 12 months, where a wild salmon has more like 4 years, 5 years. The quality of the flesh doesn't have the omega-3 levels, and you know, quite frankly, it has never truly been tested. There were tests done on whether or not there would be allergens in this, but they only tested with 6 fish. You know, even to get something that is statistically relevant, you would have to have at least 30 fish, you know, to make it have any kind of substantive information. And so you look at that and you say, well, the Food and Drug Administration is taking care of us. But you know, the Food and Drug Administration has a legitimacy crisis. They do not test the food. They sent letters, and we've got copies of the letters. They've sent letters out to Monsanto and other genetically engineering firms to say, we can find, based on the information you submitted to us, we think that there's nothing damaging here. Remember, you're responsible for letting us know if there's anything damaging in any of these products. Well, for crying out loud, you know, we need independent, peer-reviewed science. We need some independent scientists to take a look at some of this stuff. There are very few independent scientists left in the world who are willing to work on GMO issues and our genetic engineering issues. Those that do have found some grievous kinds of problems, you know, tumors and the like. Well, I want those studies peer reviewed. I want to find out if GMO foods are producing abnormalities. The thing that bothers me, you know, we know since 1996, when GMOs first entered the food chain, that we have right now we have between 1 and 88 or 1 in 60 births in the United States. The babies are being born on the autism spectrum. There's some form of autism. We didn't have that before that time. I don't know that you can say with any certainty, scientific certainty, because we don't have any studies, is this related to some of this GMO food we're feeding our families? And we don't even know it. You know, I didn't know. I love Greek yogurt, right? I didn't know Chobani yogurt, which we at our house, we eat a lot of Chobani yogurt because we think it tastes pretty good. I didn't know that was a GMO product. I want labels. You know, our family would not eat that stuff if we knew. And I think that most of the citizens in the state of Washington agree with me. And so that's the kind of thing that we're learning at this conference. I think it's a fabulous conference.